It's 2:20 a.m. Haven't had the best sleep schedule recently, evidently. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some characters because, to be honest, I haven't really done that in a while. Phazon's been doing it recently, and it kind of reminded me back when I made that Rayman video, the Brawlhalla video, talking about Petra when she came out, revisiting Fate, and I really enjoyed making those videos and talking a little bit about what I think about characters, because I think that characters are a very I don't know, interesting part of the game that for some reason I just don't talk about. And why don't I? Because it's like one of the most common questions is what do I think about this character? And then I just say they're good because that's my TLDR for everyone. But let's be honest here, that's not really satisfying, right? So I do want to talk about Isaiah. This is one of these casual commentary videos. I got the earbuds unplugged. Can't hear anything but my own voice. And of course, my keyboard. Because what would I be without it, really, if you think about it. I'm kind of just gaming out. Not really super thinking about it, although I guess I will try and utilize some of the techniques I discuss in this gameplay commentary, but of course. But I do want to talk about Isaiah. What is it? It's been a minute and I haven't said anything about him. He's a very interesting character in that simultaneously he was terrible, good, and terrible. Let me explain. So, on release, I'm not gonna lie, Isaiah was a bit of a stinker, but he's had a series of buffs, and it's interesting because when I say he was a stinker, it's not even like his signatures were bad, his weapon set was bad, it's just that like, his SIGs didn't work in the way that you thought they should, but they had a good foundation, which is why when they buffed his signatures just by buffing the pure numbers, so I'll give a concrete example, is this gun side signature, for example, on release, when you used it, you're just stuck in it, and then they reduced the recovery frames to make it like almost non-existent, because the move takes a while to come out, has limited range, like vertically speaking. So, the move itself was fine, it's just it needed a bit of tweaking, and the same was the case for a lot of his signatures. And so they just increased the speed of like cannon side sig, they increased the, or decreased the recovery time of some of the signatures, and his SIGs are amazing. Like, his signature kit is actually really good. His stat spread is pretty good, I mean, not the best, definitely. The higher decks could be allocated to different places, potentially, for a more optimal situation, but it's a good spread, for sure. And, something that's really good about Isaiah, that, not a lot of people talk about, is actually this N-Sig right here on the guns, because I think what really makes the signature good, oh, that's a VC, we're gonna, follow suit, and get a game where we're gaming out. Yeah, this N-Sig is something that I think is really, honestly, when I think about Isaiah, I think about this N-Sig, which is an interesting thing to think about, given how underwhelming it looks, and I think a lot of people overlook it, because they see the hitbox size and see that it's tiny. But if you think about it, Bow and Light has the same, like, tiny hitbox size, and is one of, like, the best ground moves in the game. It's not about the size of the little balls, okay? It's about the positioning, I guess. A little worried about the implications of that one, but looks like we got a mirror match, regardless. So, yeah, this N-Sig, the reason why I think it's a staple of the kit is because it's pretty much an N-Light on bow, but on guns. It's super quick, very low recovery time. It's pretty much a light attack. When I think about other moves similar to it, I think, oh, Linfei's hammer, Linfei's hammer? This is news to me. Linfei's cannon N-Sig, a staple of her kit, given that it's pretty much a light attack, like an extra light attack for the weapon. So I think of Isaiah's N-Sig on his guns as an extra light attack on the guns, and it covers an area that guns normally don't cover, which is really good. There, I just misfired a bit, missed the timing. I'm gonna do one of these. Ooh, that was an intelligent recovery for sure, but I had the resources to edgeguard regardless. So yeah, that's something that's really cool about Isaiah, that if you play him, it's not necessarily something that you get on other gun legends, so it's something that's kind of unique, and I think it's pretty cool that he has like a kind of light attack. Do I think it's strong? Like, absolutely. I think that SIG is actually kind of absurd in its strength. Same with this down SIG on the cannon. It's really good. I misinputted there, but that's fine. Yeah, that SIG is also really good. But yeah, that's why I think of it, Isaiah, very unique in that while other characters like Lucian have a move that hits at this angle, Diana has a move that hits at this angle, they're not quite the same in that it's not like a super quick shot that I can just instantly end light right after and treat it as if it's a light attack, as well as that one is kind of like a light attack in its recovery time. So that's what I like about Isaiah, is that he feels unique in the sense that he has a tool. Ooh, I have a new color. Let me use it. That is beautiful. Unique in the sense that he has something that other characters don't. Like Lord Vrax, another example. He has that gun NSIG that covers that angle. Barraza, another example. But I don't really think of those as an additional light attack to his kit. I just think of it as a strong NSIG. Whereas with Isaiah, I feel like it's central to his like character identity, which is something that's really cool, and I really like about some recent characters is they feel like they have a SIG that's very central to their identity, and I like that. Now balance, like that's just from a philosophical game design perspective. From a balance perspective, like obviously I'd want a signature that acts like a light attack to act like a light attack. Like thinking about something like Cassidy's hammer NSIG, which is like another thing. If that's another character, like okay, that's something central to her kit that she has. That hammer NSIG covers that angle so fast, like no other hammer character can cover that angle at such like consistency, efficiency, and speed, like she can. So I really think of it as central. Oh, I saw that ground pound coming. I saw that one coming too, but I whiffed. Oh, I'm dead. And like that, for example, is a move where the hitbox is insane, the coverage is insane, like the fact that it can kill. So that's like a balance aspect. But from a like game design perspective, the fact that Cassidy has that is cool, because it means that Cassidy's hammer is just different from other people's hammers, not just in their light attacks, not just in the stats, but like having an additional tool that's not just I hit a read with this NSIG and that's the end of the story. So that's cool. I do like Isaiah. When I say he was terrible and then he was good and then he was terrible again, I actually don't think that he's terrible right now. It's just he's not very meta. The thing is, guns, I mean, by the time the Balance Pass update comes out, there's going to be a big, or the Battle Pass update, there's going to be a Balance Pass, so this might not be the case. But currently guns are not super meta, just based off the weapons that are super strong. They tend to have a good time against guns. And the same is true with cannon. Ever since the rework, it hasn't had the most success, or the most strength, so Isaiah is not necessarily super meta character right now, but that absolutely does not take away from his strengths, which are a very good signature kit, a pretty fun weapon combo. I mean, when cannon's at its best, it's like super crazy, and then guns are this like higher ceiling, more control based weapon that are kind of difficult to use but very satisfying to pull off. So I think Isaiah is a really cool character. He's the TLDR of this. I think he's good. I just think that he's not in the meta right now. Did they go AFK? That is a bit unfortunate. I'll let them back for now. For now. And I think if you want to play a character that has a unique move on the guns, that was a bit cheeky. I wanted to uppercut them into that weapon and spike them down, but I was not ready for that. But I'm not sure what was going on there. If you want to pick up a new character, you like the guns, but you feel like you struggle with people that are floating up, hitting you from those angles, those unarmed dares, those Qatar dares, then look into Isaiah for a bit. He's pretty fun. His signatures feel like they work exactly how they're intended to work, which is a very good feeling. And it feels like when his stuff is in the meta, he is terrifying, which is always a good thing, because some characters, even when everything goes right for them meta-wise, and I saw some people asking about what meta is. Meta is basically the popular techniques, characters, you know, weapons that have kind of been proven to be strong, effective, and most common. Like hammer, like lance, as we're seeing in this match, in current days. I thought they might spot dodge, so I did that. So yeah, I recommend trying them out. What I was saying was there's some characters where even when everything goes right meta-wise, maybe they're just not the strongest. A character I think about is like Ember, who even when Katars are at the top and Bow are at the top, she's still maybe picked less favorably than someone like Ragnar or someone like Diana, who have Bow or who have Katars. Whereas when Cannon, and part of that is like due to her stats, which is like low defense, is something that's not usually desirable. But with someone like Isaiah, if guns are at the top and Cannon is at the top, he's just like such a threat, which is a bit unfortunate. That's alright. That's alright. So that's what I like about him, for sure. Will I ever play him like in tournament? I also get a lot of questions. Yeah, speak. I've been getting a lot of questions recently about tournaments because I haven't been playing in them for a few months. I do want to play tournaments again. I will when I can. I just can't at the moment. So that's why I have to answer anyone's question for that. But yeah, is Isaiah a character that I pick up for tournaments in the future? I don't think so. I just kind of play him to have fun, if he's my daily mission, if I want to make a video like this one. I think that I'm... unless something changes in my brain that I wouldn't necessarily want to pull out a cannon in tournament. Maybe it's just lack of experience, which is definitely the case. I do not have the most experience on cannon by any means, but it's also a matter of enjoying other characters more. Like, I love Orb. Orb is my absolute favorite weapon in the game right now, and has been for a while. So, no Orb character with the cannon, no Orb character with the guns, so I'm not necessarily getting the practice with the weapons that Isaiah has to begin with. And then also, I'm not really sure who I would play him into. Like, maybe 2v2, but I don't know. So, yeah, it's not really something I've considered, but we'll see, I guess. Oh, I thought they might jump. I wasn't really sure what to do there, if I'm being honest. Talking a little bit about guns and hammer, or guns and cannon, excuse me. I think cannon ground pound is kind of nutty, and if you didn't see by that, you should think about it when you're playing against it. Kind of be aware of the threat of it and being able to punish and everything like that, because if a cannon player is free to ground pound, you are free to meet the bottom of the blast zone for sure. Very, very scary move. Gun ground pound as well. One of the moves that I think is actually the most overlooked in, I don't know, when we're talking about strength, is gun ground pound particularly. Its hitbox is insane. The splash that you can create, similar to this cannon ground pound, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring them up, is because they both act kind of similarly in the sense of wide range, good priority, and being able to early activate. So that's a strategy that if you're an Isaiah player you can use on both weapons, which is that if you're trying to catch someone coming back onto stage with a ground pound, you can actually pre-fire the ground pound to get a more, if you time it correctly, you'll actually get a more guaranteed, what's the word? More guaranteed coverage. And I'll see if I can show that off a little bit, because some situations, maybe if you immediate ground pound, you only catch a dodge in one direction, but if you pre-fire it, the active frames will be out long enough to actually get the full kill. So we'll see. Oh, I didn't actually need to jump there for that nair. I thought I might have. Gonna get a downlight nair, that would kill, and we'll be alright. I like to use speed stance on Isaiah. I'm the type of player that absolutely thinks speed is extremely valuable, especially when you go from 4 to 5. I think that difference is very noticeable, and important as well. But if you don't want to clock in the speed, that's fine. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. Oh, I didn't get my spot dodge out. And that's okay too. I'm guessing an N-sig. Oh, immediate ground pound. This down sig on the blasters I think is not as good as the cannon variant, but as you can see there, it can throw people a little bit off for how far it goes out. That was a recent change to Isaiah. Was that his little bird thingy goes out a little further when he sends them out. That's cool. Ooh, I probably should have died there, but I didn't. Luckily. Lucky me. Yeah. I don't know. I think I've said my piece on Isaiah. I really like his design. I think he's very fun to play as. I think his signature kit is very well suited to his design. I think that slide charging an N-sig off the map like 4 times in a row is not the best decision, but I'm not known to make the best decisions, so you know, we are where we are. Hence recording at 2:37 a.m. But I'm gonna get a downlight Sair into recovery, and we're gonna call it a night, shall we? If I can, of course. I will try. I'm getting Zold, which is not the best. When we're talking canon characters, I will add that Zold. Oh wow, they are very damaged. Okay, I may not be getting this. We'll see if I can get a Sair into Sair maybe. Oh no, they are just zooming all the way. A bit too much damage there. Actually, I'll queue up one more match because I want to talk about alternative options. Oh, I didn't know. I clicked through too quickly. So often Isaiah is not picked for his guns. Someone like Diana, someone like sometimes Lucian are picked for their guns. Brax picked for their guns. And for canon, Zol is almost always the pick. Zol, I think, is the strongest canon legend right now. So for individual like weapon specialist, it makes sense why Isaiah isn't seen as much, because if you're a gun specialist, there's gun characters that tend to be, I guess, a little more intuitive, and having maybe an awkward weapon combo would throw them off a little bit. Like the guns in canon, it's not necessarily the most traditional. Like any character with a sword, I would say, is like a pretty standard combo. Any character with a spear is a pretty standard combo. That like hammer, that pretty much anyone can, I wouldn't say pick up with ease, but definitely pick up a lot easier than some of the more string-based weapons for sure. They're a lot more straightforward. So a lot of people, I don't think, would pick Isaiah just purely for one of his 2 weapons. But I will say, if you end up doing that, then you are making a pretty good choice. I think his signatures are good, like what I've been talking about in this video. And yeah, we'll round off with one more game here. I said my little piece about characters, but I don't want to just end off with a queue time. So we'll do a little bit of a little mini commentary here up against this Zariel. And we'll call it a night. Ooh, on the Fangwild. We do love some Fangwild every now and then. Only every now and then, you know. I don't want to see a Fangwild every day. That's becomes less special then, you know. Novelty activates the dopamine response. Alright, so I'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. So I'm jumping a lot because I am very scared of gauntlets. Getting those ins on the guns. I think that gauntlets into guns is a matchup that I like to play a lot. I think a lot of players enjoy this matchup, or find it, like find getting into the blaster's blind spots, like nice with the gauntlets. It flows pretty well. Oh, not the best option there. So we'll see. Ooh, a bit rushed on my part, but that splash actually would have killed, which is kind of insane. I'm gonna just throw this down and totally miss the mine, and then catch the mine, and then catch the thing. I said mine. I'm gonna charge this because I think they'll dodge. They did not dodge. I'm fine though. Sair? Yeah. Oh, they did not hit the angle that I wanted them to, which is okay. That's okay. They're hitting some angles though. Yeah. Okay, so basically what I was doing is I was trying to get out of the range of where gauntlets would hit. I think bow is also a matchup that blasters can struggle against, and it's part of the reason why they're not super in meta right now, because bow is very strong, and it has those angles, like that Enlight that can get in fairly easily, that Sair, that Dare, that downlight dash, that can punish something coming in quick. So maybe a little bit more luck on the cannon here. Didn't quite get the combo that I wanted, or the bounce that I wanted, as is typical in this match, but that's fine. I let myself get hit by that one. That was a bit stupid, maybe. Not the best decision. I'm gonna look for a nair so I can get a wall bounce, or a ceiling bounce, I should say, or just do one of these. This cannon corner pressures. Like, all I'm doing is dash jump ground pounding, but cannon's corner pressure is really good with this end light coverage. It spikes them down, and then the power of the ground pound, the priority, this force, this strength. I'm expecting a signature. There it is. There's that ground pound, and that is death right there. So we'll call it a night here. Talked a little bit about Isaiah. My mouth is not making words anymore, so good night.